In this video, I'm in Turin to visit the Centro Storico Fiat. This is the Fiat Museum. It's in a building Fiat expanded into in 1909, and the rumour is that sadly this place is going to close and may be redeveloped. Fiat has a number of other museums as well, but this one should be something a bit special. I've no idea what's inside, so let's go and have a look. Right, here we go, and the action starts straight away. We've got an 1899 Fiat, built at a time when apparently there were 111 cars in Italy. Wow. So this would have been before the company expanded into this building, and here is the early engine. See the piston there? And of course Fiat went up to doing jets and all sorts. Let's go inside. Here we go then. This place is not open very often, so we need to make the most of it today. And look at that old Fiat tractor. Wow. About 1927, I think, old Fiat truck. Just shows you how much history this company has. There's a focus really on the earliest days of Fiat. Now, like so many of the early pioneering motor companies, Fiat began with bicycles. Look at that for an advert. Extraordinary. So here's a Fiat 1100S Coupe, produced immediately after the Second World War. But I think what I'm more interested in is the Fiat 8V next to it. 8V because it has a V8 engine. 114 of these cars were produced, exceedingly rare. It was very against Fiat at the time, really. It was more focused on sports cars. So you got these pop-out door handles, you press the button, the handle pops out so you can open the door. Absolutely beautiful. Not very practical, no hatchback, no way in at all. But light and aerodynamic with independent suspension. So a fantastic array of models. There's the Beast of Turin, which now lives in the UK. Can frequently be seen out on the roads even. He drives it to events. So beautiful, beautiful models. And then here we've got a devil of a machine. Mephistopheles. It's yeah, incredible. In 1924 it set the world land speed record. Eldridge was the only one capable of controlling this diabolical machine. Gosh, 320 horsepower. What it doesn't seem to say is how fast he actually went. Oh no, there we go, 234 kilometers an hour on that. Can you imagine? A huge, I mean, it's just mostly engine on a bed frame. Still wooden sections as well, chain drive to the rear wheels. It's obviously been to the Goodwood Festival of Speed a few times. Look at the tacho. That's wonderful. So it maxes out at 2,600 RPM. I imagine that's the fuel primer there. And the pedals hidden somewhere down there. There we go. That's like a centre throttle. Perhaps the gear lever being out here, and the thinnest of guards over the chain. Imagine the speed that chain will be going around. But look at the paint finish. Wonderful. And this is great that you can get so close to these extraordinary cars. This is a Balilla Mille Miglia, a little sports version of a more humble car. Let's zoom out for a better look. It is quite small. It's got some lovely little wipers. So there's a motor on this side and that crossbar linkage. And look, we've even got a tiny little shark fin down the back for stability. That is a deeply lovely thing. Dating from 1929, this is a Fiat 525 SS. Kind of built for the Alpine Cup. And sports car almost by accident. Let's see what it has. A 3.8 litre engine, produces 88 brake horsepower, and given a top speed of 120 kilometers an hour, that's about 75 miles an hour. That is pretty impressive for 1929. And just look at the craftsmanship in this body. Beautiful. We got a single rumble seat or dicky seat back here for a child, and then this classy interior with all the gauges over on the passenger side. The driver doesn't need to bother himself with such things, that's just for the passenger. The Fiat 522S, the luxury sports car, 2.5 litre engine, 65 brake horsepower. Wonderful. And next to it, another 525S, the modern expression of sportiness, 1929. So it's just proof that Fiat did build some truly impressive cars in the pre-war period. I love this one with like the airbrushed Fiat badge on the front. Glorious Fiat badge. Let's find out what this is. A 507 Torpedo, apparently. And then next to it, an even bigger Fiat, the 519, the Supreme Machine. We've got some movie footage going on over here as well. Fiat also made aircraft, of course. Wow. So the Fiat 1400 was one of the big post-war success stories for Fiat. Quite rare in the UK. Some of them did come over, I believe. But I love the fact they've managed to capture some of the production line here. So we've got these cars that will never be cars, but nonetheless preserved as later 124 by the look of it behind there. But a beautiful car. Obviously 4-door saloon, much more common than this convertible version. Got a welding jig visible to the side there as well. Something very special here. This is no less than the office of Dante Giacosa, the Italian stylist or engineer even of cars such as the Fiat 500, Fiat 850 I think was involved in. The Fiat 127, he develops the transverse engine layout. This is a 128P Ferrari Dino, Fiat Dino. I'm not sure how involved he was with that, but look at the quality of the woodwork in there. If I bring you right up to the glass, it cuts down the glare. So sadly we can't go in, but we can look and marvel at the vehicles that were created here. So we've just found an early aero engine here, and I just realised it's an opposed piston design. So we've got two crankshafts for the two pistons, and they meet in the middle, and then the explosion forces the pistons out, and you get twin rotations going on. That's a crazy bit of engineering, and very similar to the Comma bus the Women Drivers Social Club were on recently, where it has kind of a triangle of opposed pistons. Marvellous. Gosh, old maps. We've got all the old posters here, but we also get a good view of the collection as a whole up here. So we came in over there, and we can pan round and see what's here. It's only a very small museum, but very special, and I feel very honoured to be here in what could be its last month of operation. So we've got more utterly fantastic artwork here, but Jim has drawn my attention to this, Polski Fiat. We obviously know Polski Fiat, the cars that were built by FSO, but the history dates right back to the 1930s with a plant in Warsaw which was destroyed by the Germans in that minor disagreement. But yeah, wonderful, wonderful stuff. And now a bit more focus on the aeronautical side. Sections of wings and jet turbines. A fantastic collection of all sorts. Scale model jets. It's a special place. I mean, it's wonderful to see it so busy. This place has not been open to the public very much at all since COVID. Ooh, there's a big actual jet just over there. it does calculating. So this is actually the location of the archives as well. So these pictures are from those archives. Look at that for a contraption. Walt Disney up there in that one apparently. Yeah, wonderful photos. Oh my gosh, it's showing some wear, but look at this fantastic model. The Motonave Italterra has got a Fiat engine of 36,000 horsepower, and apparently you could pack it with Fiats. Look, we've got the original Multiplas up the top. I think these are 1400s down here. Extraordinary. Oh, even managed to squeeze a few in up at the top. And yeah, there was no driving in, so they would have each been loaded in by crane. Oh no folks, it all went a bit hubnut for that one. Bad times. It's alright, another one will be off the production line any minute. So now we've got giant industrial engines. Oh, it's a scale model of an engine, 12 cylinder, and would have had an output of 32,500 horsepower. Gosh. So this is a 1/10 scale model of the engine. Wow. And likewise, 37,000 horsepower for this one. Fiat 7612S engine. Blimey. And then we got a full-size Fiat Jet, the G91R1. A fighter photo reconnaissance aircraft apparently. I'm going to have to go wider because it's so big. That's not wider, there we go. It's actually got a Bristol Orpheus engine. But nonetheless, we are left wondering how on earth they're going to get this out when the museum closes. Oh, who doesn't love the insanity of a radial engine? You see two stacks, I think it's 9 cylinders in each row. So 18 cylinder engine. Whereas in the olden days, you just built a V engine as big as you could. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a V24. Wow, 51 litres, 3,000 horsepower. The weight of the engine, 930 kilos. So they've got all these amazing model aircraft as well. Some with see-through bodies. This one has a see-through section here, so you can see the luxurious seating within. Certainly looks a lot more luxurious than our Boeing 737 from this morning. The state of this helicopter. Definitely good for sightseeing trips, I should think. Yeah, amazing. And then another row of aero engines up the back. More amazing artwork. The Panda, the Ritmo as it was here. It was the Strada in the UK. I love this one. The happy ladies in their Fiat 126. This one utterly messes with your eyes the closer you get to it. Fiat 850s, very pretty little saloons, very capable as well. The 500s, of course. Again, wonderful artwork. Selling the dream. And the Fiat 600 and the Multipla. Classy ladies indeed. Wow. Uno! Here is Dante Giacosa. That's appalling pronunciation, I do apologise. I am from England. Look at these scale drawings of the 500. Delightful. Now the Fiat 1100 here, that's this one down here and the gorgeous little estate up there. This design was actually sold off to India and became the premier Padmini, and actually outsold the Hindustan Ambassador. So to us Brits, the Hindustan Ambassador is the famous Indian car that was built forever, but in fact the premier Padmini outsold it. We're back on the ground floor again, a little Fiat Balilla Spider apparently. I love that Italians developed these tiny little number plates. They wouldn't spoil the looks of their cars. Number plates are, terrible to look at. This is one of Dante Giacosa's many creations. Fiat 700 prototype. Stress-bearing body, so a monocoque construction, and a crankcase of aluminium. It was presented to Mussolini, awkward, on the 15th of May 1939 at the inauguration of the Mirafiori plant, but never went into production because of the second minor disagreement, to quote Auto Shenanigans. So there we go. A car that never was, and yet somehow still is. What's this one? This has got some interesting wipers going on. There's a 1500, audaciously aerodynamic. It dates from 1935. That's when the model came into production. It is the Fiat 1500. And yeah, really strange, swoopy aerodynamic looks. Got a 1.5 litre engine, understandably. Produces 45 brake horsepower, but can do 115 kilometers an hour. So that's just over 60 miles an hour. I reckon it might have no central pillar looking at it as well. The rear doors are suicide. Look at the detail. The delicious curve of these handles. And right-hand drive, because Italy continued to have right-hand drive. It was seen as a luxurious thing to have the seat, the steering wheel this side, because then you stepped out onto the curb. And Lancias, even into the post-war era, were right-hand drive only for that very reason. The Fiat 1500 Cabriolet is one of the prettiest cars you've never heard of. Again, we've got a tiny number plate so as not to spoil the lines. Very pretty cars, a very willing little 1500cc engine. Pininfarina responsible for the styling. And you can kind of tell, can't you? Look at those rear lights. So similar to a Gordon Keeble, I think. But even the lamps themselves are just utterly beautiful. Oh, this is pretty. The Fiat 1200 TV. And they only built a few hundred of these. Look at the details. The grille, these little indicators hidden in their little chrome homes, the hooded headlamps, this remarkable detail on the bonnet. What a pretty little car. Dummy scoops just behind the rear doors there. For a rear engine, it does not have. So it debuted at the Paris Motor Show in 1953. Engine power increased by 14 brake horsepower. Wow. So 571 convertibles made. A little 1100cc engine. That is a pretty motor car. There's a beautiful car. It's the Ferrari-powered Fiat Dino Coupe. There was also a convertible version built by Pininfarina, but the coupe was done by Bertone, and you can see so many hints of other Bertone designs. I know you can see the Multipla. We'll get to that, don't you worry. But it's just an extremely pretty, crisp design with V6 Ferrari power. The models continue, by the way. Look, we've got buses and some of the pre-war cars. The 1500, oh no, someone's had a suspension collapse on that one. And if we come around here, we've got race cars and tractors. Just reminding us that Fiat did so much stuff. Far, far more than just cars. So yes, this crazy Multipla is called the Eden Rock 2. And it is a custom car by Pininfarina. It has wooden doors, if you can call them doors, wooden things. It has a bench in the back, but it still has the free seats in the front, so we're quite used to in a Multipla. And apparently it was built for this man, Gianni Agnelli, who was the boss of Fiat for many years. But unfortunately, I think this may have been built a bit too late. He died in 2003, and I think this may have been finished in 2004. Amazing things. I still love the styling of the Multipla, and this seems a fun way to celebrate it. And look, the dashboard hasn't gone sticky. So this is a chassis from the Littorina train project that Fiat was entrusted with. Big old 6-cylinder engine, driving the rear axle by the looks of it, huge leaf springs, and there's the bodywork, super aerodynamic. So That's quite a thing. So here's a world of contrast. We've got the 2300S, beautiful coupe, 2.2 litre engine. Some very, very quirky styling going on there. And they did not sell many of these. It was developed on 2100. There's a 2300 and an S version with more powerful engine. So from the early 1960s. Dinky little opening window here. Beautiful wood rim steering wheel. And then by way of contrast, we've got a Lada. So marking the tie-up with Russia, that saw Lada get a new car design, and Italians managed to get their hands on some particularly dodgy Russian steel. It's a winning combination. So this is the Ziguli. Wow. Made with experimental antifreeze paints. So it's from 1966. And of course these cars, lightly developed, ran through until the early 2000s in Russia as the Lada Riva, as we knew it. The Fiat 600, again, Dante Giacosa, he needed to develop a new small car, and he decided to do it this way. He'd already done the Topolino with a small engine up the front, but for the 600 he put the four-cylinder engine to the rear instead. We've seen something similar to this. I did a road test of a Zastava from the former Yugoslavia, and that was a license-built version. Look at those dainty rear lights. No indicators at all, I don't think, at this stage. And beautiful check seats. Just a sliding window. So these had an extraordinarily long production life. They sold very, very well. And no one knows them because people only know the Fiat 500, which is a bit cuter. Another Balilla here. And yes, here we go. Here is the Topolino. This was Giacosa's first design. Very young man at the time. Look, it's got lovely trafficators that pop out of there to tell you which way it's going. And again, right-hand drive, because that was the norm. So in production from 1936, sold as the Simca 5, license built in France as well. Oh, here in the dark, we've got a wooden styling buck for the Fiat 600. That's an amazing thing. How lovely that has been kept. And then behind us, this is a 1912 Fiat 12/15 horsepower Type 0. Again, right-hand drive, because that was the preference, even though they drove on the right-hand side of the road. So this is a Fiat 501. It was introduced just after the first minor disagreement, the First World War. Look at these indicators. They've been retrofitted, I think. They're cute. And this became a big seller for Fiat at the time. Look at that lovely simple dashboard. Reminds me quite a lot of the Austin Heavy 12 I drove a while back. I would love to do a comparison. I don't know how many 501s, if any, are in the UK. And this is a 509, slightly lower bonnet line. Again, right-hand drive. Just as beautiful. Look at the clocks. Gorgeous. Can be considered Fiat's first mass production utility. Manufactured at the brand new Lingotto plant. We are hoping to visit that plant on this trip as well. Gosh. So it's from 1925, a 1990 cc engine. Fancy a Fiat fridge or washing machine? Anything was possible in the olden days. What the heck? The animators have been smoking again. Crazy. I'll tell you what, when you look around this place, it's quite crazy to think that this was Fiat's new expanded empire back in 1909, whenever it was. Beautiful skylights up the top to let lots of natural light in, and the cars would have been assembled very much by hand in here. Industrialization still a long way off, but what an amazing collection. It's been fascinating to come here this is the only reason we came really, but we thought we'd tie it in with some other stuff. So this will be a small series of videos about interesting Fiat stuff we found in Turin on basically with just over a 24-hour visit. So if you can get here, I certainly recommend coming and having a look at this place, this gorgeous little 1200 behind me. And yeah, do come. It's free to visit, but opening hours are very restricted. To search for Centro Storico Fiat on the internet, you'll find all the details you need. Everything is there for you. But yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in a future video. Farewell.